All right, let's do something fun. I'm gonna draw some bubbles. Okay, we're just gonna draw little bubbles. Whoa, look at that. And all of this is just a experiment to see what emerges. So as you can see, I'm just kind of creating these bubbles and making sure that they are close enough to each other and maintaining. I didn't like that one. They're not that one either. That they're maintaining some kind of equal distance between each other. I'm varying the widths, the lengths, and kind of having everything centered around center here, the middle. Okay, interesting. So, where did that leave us? I don't know, but I'm gonna move this over to the middle here. And this is one of the things I actually love about the ReMarkable. You can just kind of circle something, duplicate it, and then you can copy it. So if I was maybe wanting to design something or just, create a cool little art piece, I might choose to do it this way. Just by kind of copying, moving things around. Maybe I'll resize that one. Yeah, see? Maybe I'll get this one a little smaller. And actually, now I'm seeing I could do a little pattern of progressively having these little elements get smaller. So I'm going to just do that. Nice, look at that. Well, that's kind of cool. See, I didn't even know I was going to get here until this moment. And again, just to highlight, again, the ReMarkable, I love this thing. It's a shame that they discontinued version 2. It's kind of sad. Make way for version 3, which is in full color and has a backlight, which is honestly like, those are the things I absolutely didn't want from my tablet. I like this one just because it's super like minimal and there's no color because I don't know, maybe it was just a limitation. The web app version does have color, so I can kind of see it on the side here, but anyways, the thing I was going to show off is that I can zoom in, and these are not rasterized. These are vectors, which is pretty cool. Kind of zoom in, and you can see that it retains all of the I guess the initial strokes are kind of retained, is what I'm trying to say. And then I can make it go really, really, really small, and then it'll make it infinitely like tiny. Yeah. And I wonder about that actually. Is it like, oh, that was weird. I saw it glitch on my side. And I'll put this over here. And I guess if I was like doing more art stuff, I would kind of circle this in with orange. So I'm highlighting. This is actually the same hue of orange that I use on my Substack, or that I chose to use for my like primary color for Substack buttons on one of my publications. Kind of love it. Yeah, orange is I don't know. Orange is a very meaningful color for me. I feel like when I was a kid, I had a lot of orange shirts, and I think my room was orange growing up, or like certain aspects of it were the color orange. I'm not really sure. So yeah, I'm just here. I'm having fun. I'm just drawing, coloring things in. Honestly, they should bring coloring back as an activity that adults do. But I think there are kind of like meditative things out there for, like art therapy is a thing. So this is fun. I feel like this could be a cool segue to talk about something mathy. Yeah, there was there's something that I've been kind of fascinated by for a while. And this picture is actually kind of reminding me of that. So maybe I can take a minute and talk about it. So let me actually just copy this over. Move over to another page. So I don't know why, but I've been really, really fascinated by the way, I guess, how visual pictures appear in our minds. And it's kind of been like I wouldn't say an obsession. I was going to say an obsession, but it's been an on and off kind of thing that piques my interest whenever I'm able to get attuned to images. And anyways, all this to say, not to make this a whole kind of ramble about images, but something that I've noticed or noticed myself noticing is when I treat things in my visual field as one like thing. And I'll explain a little bit more what I mean by that. If I make this collection of blobs into like a really small thing, so look. Now, when I look at this, I just kind of see one blob. Yes, there are individual pieces to this blob. As you can, we know that because we literally made this, ourselves. But from a distance, it kind of looks like one thing. And then when you zoom in, there's a certain point, so I probably reached the threshold already, but there's a certain threshold of zoom where the eye starts to be able to discern kind of the inner shapes or inner patterns. Shapes, patterns isn't the right word, but basically you're able to see more than one thing. Oops, jump the page. You're able to see more than one thing. So I've been curious about this specifically, like when does that happen? But then also, if I make this big again, when I just look at this thing, the thing that I've kind of wondered for a while is like, where does the eye go specifically when presented with a shape like this? I've tried to do tests on myself by like showing myself just a novel shape and seeing where my eye goes. It's honestly really, really hard to do. I don't even know if I'm doing it right because all the juicy stuff happens in like a flash of a second. And then I kind of have to go back and retroactively retrospectively kind of assess what my eye did. So I feel like I'm getting I think I read this somewhere. It's called like post-stimulus error or something like that. Anyways, I can cut that part out. But no, it's like, I think my eye at first, like I'm going to run this experiment again. I'll shut my eyes and open them. And then I feel like I see that part first. And then maybe I see like that. And I'm just using red now to kind of circle what I see or like what the blobs are. So maybe it's actually more appropriate to do like blob first, that blob, and then like that blob. You know what I mean? Honestly, I'd love to design an interface for this one day, or a way of communicating what I'm saying right now. I feel like if there was an application, and maybe I'll make this myself, if there was a way to kind of like put patterns or put superimposed shapes maybe. Okay, here's an idea right now that I'm thinking of. Maybe there is a way to kind of Yeah, just like take the outlines or the shape that is perceived by a human eye, and then just sequence them. And maybe, I don't know how you would collect all this data, to be honest. Like maybe it's eye trackers you would have to use. And maybe, maybe if you were able to say, like, one person, their first kind of snapshot is like that, and the other, and another person's is like that. Maybe there's a way to kind of average these curves, if that makes sense. So, I would be interested in a collection of data where, and all of this is all speculation. Like, I don't even know if, I don't even know exactly how I'm perceiving this thing, right? Like, what parts I'm focusing on. I do think that I am focusing on certain aspects, but the mechanisms of, like, I guess, what is being perceived is still, like, a question for me. But assuming that there is some sort of, like, dance of my eye, that I'm focusing on different things, it'd be interesting to see what that aggregated is across populations of people. So let's say, I'm here. This is just Adam. And then maybe my perceptions are like, it's that first, then that, then that, then that, then that. Question is, what does Sally's perceptions look like? Maybe they're slightly different. And then maybe, to be accurate, we could, or to introduce another variable, we could put this on a time scale. So maybe the time intervals between these perceptions vary as well, if that makes sense. So maybe Sally's looks like that, and maybe mine looks like that. I'll draw another line. I'm just arbitrarily imposing just numbers on this time scale without specifying the units, because I don't know what order. That'd be something interesting to figure out. Like, what is the order of nanoseconds, 50, microseconds? I'm not sure. Anyways, this is kind of rough, but you get the idea. Move that over here. And it would be, if we had some kind of population of people, just for fun, I'm going to use this image, this little icon I created. And if we had a population of people, it would be really awesome to see, basically just kind of see what that looks like from an aggregated point of view. So I don't know if you take a mean or if there's a way to do this intelligently, but it would be really interesting to look into this. And honestly, I've started, but I've kind of gotten discouraged whenever I've started researching this. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just another bold attempt I have to make, and maybe I have to sit with this for a few hours and just commit myself to research. I think when I get into the actual task of doing the research and, like, searching online for papers for, people who have done, visual perception, I think maybe I'm not ambitious enough with the searches that I'm doing, or I'm not specific enough. But anyways, so that's this. I don't really know what to call this. If this is like visual perception, the category this falls into: visual perception, threshold testing, something like that. I'm not quite sure. But anyways, I hope this was inspiring or interesting, and thanks for watching.